What's good, y'all? Thank you for listening or watching to this week's episode of the N1 podcast. Just a quick reminder here somewhere on your screen, you should be able to see a Patreon link. That is for an optional support to the podcast. It allows me to get better equipment, level up the quality of the episodes, and just deliver better content for you. If you do want to support, it's $6 per month. And other than that, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Have a good one. What's good, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the N1 podcast. This week, I have a very special guest, one of my close homeboys that I met playing here in Costa Rica. Tevis Robinson. T, how you doing, man?
Yo, what's going on, bro? You all right?
I'm straight. How about you?
Man, can't complain, man. God is good.
All right, man. I appreciate you taking the time to come on the podcast. I've talked to a few players, and I really want to get to know your story, get to know your story a little bit more. Because
Okay.
well, each player, each person has a different story. I know yours is a little bit different about how you came into Costa Rica. So that's what we're gonna get into today, man. To get started, I'd like to give about 30 to 45 seconds for people to introduce themselves. Who you are, college, where you're from. Just give us a brief intro about yourself.
Okay. Yeah. My name's Tevis Robinson Jr. I'm from Ypsilanti, Michigan, where if you may not know, a lot of people put up like the mitten, but like I'm closer to like the Detroit area. People know Detroit, but I'm like an hour from Detroit. I played at Johnson and Wales University, North Miami, Florida, from 2015 to 2017. But before that, I played at a junior college in Kalamazoo, Michigan, called Kalamazoo Valley Community College. Been playing ball since I was 2 years old. Really, always have never been the best, but I just kind of stuck with it and stayed consistent. Found different things that was good outside of like, everybody wants to score the basketball, but I tried to find different things to do outside of that. Yeah.
All right, man. Sounds good. And I want to start with that last part you said. Because jumping into the season you came here to Costa Rica, and quick side note, we were teammates. So jumping into that year that you came here and played with us, usually imports when they go to any country, right? Especially if they're from the U.S., they're expected to have a big impact on scoring, right? And take on the major responsibility in getting points up and helping the team that way, other than rebounding, assisting, or anything else. So uh, yourself, you had told me that you were never a big scorer, in college and high school and all that. How did you manage to adapt into your new role here and in other places you've been at?
Um, yeah, like I said, just kind of just staying consistent. Um, Really not sure where it really started at, but I mean, like really growing up, like I said, like I was never like the best person in scoring. Like, everybody wanted to score, but like the way that I would always like, a lot of people when they start to score, it's like you got to dribble and like crossovers and do that stuff. Like my handles were trash. So I really was just trying to learn different things that I could do to score the ball, which were easier, which would be like,
Right.
screening and like getting offensive rebounds and like getting putbacks and things. So, I mean, that was really like my bread and butter for the most part. Like little tip back things, and like I got a little bit more athletic, so I started getting those tip dunks. But um, really, like after my sophomore year of college, when I was like getting ready to transfer out and trying to find these different schools, like I would be talking to some of my teammates and one of my assistant coaches, and they were really just like, like with the size that you have, and like you barely shoot the ball, but like you shoot at a high percentage. Like if you start sacrificing instead of like looking to make a pass and like kind of be like more of like a like score first type of guy, then like you could probably like go on and like actually do something special. And like I really wasn't listening to it because like for me, like growing up, I've always played with like one or like at least one guy who like was always like the dominant scorer. So like that was never my role. So
Hmm.
like I knew that like I could score the ball, but I never like saw myself like being like 20 points scored, 25. You know what I mean? Like it was always like if you look at like some of like my junior college rebounding games or like actual stats, like it'd be like 5 points, 18 rebounds, 3 points, 13 rebounds. Like it was always double digit rebounds, single digit points. And you know, like it's always opposite for like a lot of other players. You know, they'll get double digit points, single digits, and other things.
Right,
Um,
right,
but you know, when I first got down to my school in Miami, like, you know, my coach was just kind of like, we're just looking for like a guy who can come off the bench, be like that motor guy, really, you know, you're not a freshman. You like when you're recruiting junior college players, they're looking for guys to, like make impacts, like whether if you're starting or like just doing something small. He just wanted me to come in, rebound, take a couple mid-range shots, get a couple dunks, you know, get the crowd started. And, you know, that I was like, yeah, that's cool. Like that, like I don't got no problem with that. My second game, I had like 15 points. We went up to Georgia, and then it was kind of like my first little taste of like actually like being like that's like catching and shooting threes and things like that. Like I like I never thought that I would be that type of player. So I mean, then like my junior year of college, our star player was having he had surgery, so he was a little bit late. So I kind of had to hold it down. Um, and I was nervous at first, but like I had like we had a scrimmage. I had a 20 point, 20 rebound game, and then our first actual official game, I had 19 points and 15 rebounds. So, but after he came back, I kind of just went back to like what I knew. It was kind of just like rebounding. I'd shoot a couple mid ranges, a couple shots, but um outside of that, like when I just had the taste, like especially getting out of college, you know, where it's like, okay, everybody wants to try to go pro. And like I separate myself with like rebounding and things, but like a lot of a lot of professional teams they're not looking for somebody to just do that. Like they want you to play defense and things, but they're looking for somebody that's like a like a superhero, like somebody to put the ball in their hands can just make it happen in the score. So I mean, really, just giving credit to a few of my point guards that I played with in college, just working out with them, and then even with a couple of the trainers that was around for my they like graduated a little bit earlier, but working out with them and just learning a few little pro moves, seeing things that went well, and kind of just having like that short term memory of like you shooting the ball, make or miss. Like you just got to be ready to take the next one, and that's kind of
right,
just how it went from there.
right. And when you were working out and working with these guys, what was the main point of the workouts? Was it I'm trying to get more points? I'm trying to score more. Were you focused on ball handling? Like I can't lose the ball. Like what was the main focus of it?
Yeah, so a little bit of ball handling, but mainly just trying to get my points per game up. Coming out of college, my senior year, I think I averaged like 8.4 points and I think 6 or 7 rebounds a game. And which is like okay, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
but like I'm coming from like an NAIA school, so it's like for people that don't know, like NAIA is like there's like D1 NCAA, D2 NCAA, D3 NAIA. Like other people have different ways on how they like rank it. Obviously, Division 1 is the highest, but like there's other players that come from like these smaller levels, like D3 NAIA, even some D2, and it can really go. But professional teams might try to just go get a guy just because it just says that he played D1, whether he played or not. Like he could have been a walk on that never touched the floor one time, but it's like, oh, he played D1, like we want him. So
right,
like knowing that, like it was really just like, yo, you really just need to like if you get your shot, like you need to make sure that you're actually scoring the ball. You're not just trying to rebound and like pass the ball out. Like don't pass the ball. And like to me that sounds selfish, but that's like really like the way that like I had to go play. Like I'll be planning like these combines and things. Like, yeah, I get a couple rebounds, but like I may look off the point guard and actually go try to push it. And that's really what we worked on, where it was like my transition skills are just trying to beat somebody up the floor. If I drew somebody over, I pass it. I might go screen away. I get it right back. My mid-range shot was pretty decent. It ended up getting way better as I've continued to like work on it. But really just like getting that mid-range shot, like I'd hit a couple shots, and then it was kind of like the mentality of the game, trying to see like if I'm like studying for a test, you know what I mean? Like, okay, like this is how I started here. How are you going to show your work? How are you going to do these different things?
yeah,
For
yeah, yeah.
me, it was kind of like okay, I'm going to take 1 or 2 jump shots. My third one, I'm going to pump fake and I'm going to just try to go to the rim and just try to dunk on somebody. And that's what I ended up doing. Maybe I wouldn't make it, but it was kind of like whether I made it or not, it always just gave that type of reaction, like the ooh, like okay, like he's not scared. He has that confidence. Like and that's what people wanted to see. Um, And that's really what I was working on for a lot of times in that summertime. So
Right. And do you think you gained that consistency after your junior year in college in scoring, other than in other details? Like you started feeling more confident and doing more offensively after
yeah,
that year?
I mean, in anything, bro, like if you continue to work on something, you feel more confident with it. Like for me, again, growing up, like when I say like I wasn't scoring the ball, even like if I shot the ball and I missed, I might not want to shoot for like the rest of the game. Like I could be wide open. Like, like it's so funny. Like I used to like look at the film. I'm like, man, like why didn't I shoot the ball? But then I look and see it's because like I missed like my last two shots. But like now, like if you watch some of my games, like I might miss five shots in a row, and then it's like I'm still gonna continue to shoot. And like even like looking at the film on that, it's kind of like, man, I don't even remember missing these shots. Like it's just having that short term memory. So like putting all that together with the confidence was really just like what helped. I mean, basketball is for sure, a physical game. Like I was just telling somebody this the other day, it's a physical game, but it's also mental as well. You got to be quick on your feet. You got to think in like these little situations, having the IQ. So with that, like when I'm working out, just like knowing that like there's different things that I can go to, but just knowing that, I'm trying to stay prepared, but at the same time, it may not go the way that I want it to. I might do like a normal crossover and it may break somebody down. And I'm thinking like, okay, like I'm getting more like technical and basketball details for like some people may not understand it when I'm explaining it. But like if I'm attacking downhill towards the nail and I see this help side gap defender, he's supposed to like come over and help and I may kick it out. But if he stays home, a couple of times, like that's what I mean about like just having to make that decision really quick. So really just preparing and just staying confident in everything. You know what I mean?
Right, right, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. And in these years, what have you come down to as to what's the easiest way of scoring for you?
Screening and just getting mid-range shots really. Really. And the funny thing about it, really, like when I was working on my mid-range game, like I have some friends that like, like they've played overseas before me or like getting ready to play overseas. And a lot of leagues overseas, like it's physical, like really physical. And like I would see like some guys go to the basket and trying to like dunk on somebody. And like if you going against one of those like national players, like they may not care like who you are, and you could try to go dunk, and they may try to undercut you or like try to hip check you and get you hurt in the air. And like I've never been like the super physical guy, so I'm kind of like pull up mid range, and that's kind of like where I was seeing where things would go. And my first year overseas, um, it would be funny because like in practice, like we'd be going and like a lot of times like people would like if I'm like going like one on one, like some people might think, or if it's one on one, I guess I'd go. But if it's like a 2-on-1 type of thing, I might just pull up for a pull up shot. And I remember my GM was going like, man, like you'll never be like trying to go dunk on anybody. And I'm like, sometimes. And he was like, like that shot that you take, and I don't think like you'll ever take that shot. And I was kind of just like okay, you'll see. And like maybe not the first game, like my second and third game, like a lot of shots were just coming from like what normal people would do is just like attack the basket and try to go get an and one. I would just pull up and for that mid range shot because I was just so confident in it and I shot it so highly percentagely.
All right. Do you think our league is physical, or not compared to the ones you've heard about, but like physical in general?
No, for sure. And even on top of that is the referees don't call any fouls. And it's funny because like I would joke about it like with my friends when they be watching, where I'm like, bro, like they're not calling no fouls. But I knew that referees really weren't calling it was like after the season was over and we like, all the Americans they'd stay back and we would play against like the college teams and from the US that
Yeah.
would come over. And I remember, like I'm still like in season mode. So like somebody goes to like the basket or something, I kind of just like grab him because like that's what you can normally do. Like playing normally, he called a foul. And I looked at him, and then he was like, here, yes, Costa Rica, no, and I was just cracking up because I'm like, man, like it's crazy. But yeah, again, like definitely physical. And especially in Costa Rica, man, like I really thought that it would be like a lot of players that would kind of just like let me do what I wanted to do. Like I could cross over and go. But a lot of times, like, you've seen it a couple of times, like it may be like a boxing one on me, or it could be like somebody like real deal, like pushing me in the back and letting like, yo, I'm here. Like, you know what I mean? I don't care if you have 15 points right now, like try to get your next one. Like you gonna have to work for it. And I definitely did, like out of everything. Like I never felt like any of the scoring ever came easy. There
Yeah.
was definitely a lot of times where I would kind of was like, like especially where I am now, where I feel like trying to like work and like try to make the game a little bit easier. Like it's tough to like score a lot of points, but like you're not hitting every single shot. So I was really working on last year. Like I was done playing. I had like this cup thing in Peru, and they were kind of giving me these free throws. And I'd be shooting like maybe 8 to 10 free throws, and I end up getting like 20 or 25 or whatever it was. But I was like, okay, like, man, I don't really feel that tired. I'm getting 20, like, by barely even like scoring, I'm getting free throws. So that's what I was really trying to work on. So, like, but when I got here, like, I think it was only, I think one game I was 8 for 8 from free throws. The other game I was 11 for 14. Other than that, like, I think I shot 3 or 4, like, maximum. Like, and that's twice in a game, you know? So, I mean, you just got to adjust. You know what I mean? Like I could have sat there and complained to the referees about calling fouls or trying to see other things, but I just kind of had to just work with what I knew and try to adjust out of it.
Yeah, and sticking here in Costa Rica, you said you didn't know you were the first pick overall, right, when you came here?
No, I mean, you want me to talk about like the process of the camping things, or just like what's up?
So right now, let's focus on when you get drafted and when you find out you're gonna play for us. Because I remember you told me, because somebody had told you that you were picked first, but
Yeah,
not first overall. So you had no idea you was first overall, and then you got contacted by the team and all that, right?
yeah, for sure. So yeah, so basically, I did like this camp down in Atlanta, and it's like a pro combine. It has like different types of coaches and overseas scouts and agents and all these different things. And we played about 3 games. We played two in the first game. It's kind of like the seeding, and then like you have, I think there was 6 teams. So you played against two teams the first game, and then or the first day. Then the second day was kind of like the championship. We won the first two, lost in the championship. I felt like I played decent. I really didn't think I really got to show everything that I can do, kind of just because like I'm 6'6", and like a lot of people automatically assume that I can play the five, which I can, but I feel like I'm more better of like on the perimeter screening and going. But at the same time, a lot of times you don't get too many bigs. Like you might get like 1 6'10", 1 6'9" person, but like with camps, they're not gonna put a 6'9" and a 6'6" person together, really, unless he's like a guard. So
Right.
I was stuck playing a big. So, but I still, I did okay. And basically, the camp director was like, hey, there's a draft that's going on in Costa Rica. It's a it's a good league, has stats, film, good competition. We can put your name into it. Like, I feel like you can. I can't remember how many names he said he was taking, but there was only a certain amount of people that were getting picked up. And honestly, the way like in the professional game that I've really realized is like I can't really believe anything until like it happens. Like he's like, I can't guarantee you anything. I can just put your name out there and let them know what's going on. You send me your film and we can see what's up. Um, so I remember like he was kind of just keeping me updated, like, hey, the draft is gonna be in the next couple days, um, I'll let you know on what they say. I'm like, okay, like cool. But at the same time, I'm not really thinking too much about it. You know what I mean? Like I'm still working out. I'm still like I'm hitting up other coaches just to see, because this is in like late May, or like the camp was like mid-May, but like I think the draft ended up being like the 1st or 2nd of June. So I'm not really like focused on it. Like I'm like, hey, appreciate it. I'm just like, people put my name in there. I'm gonna continue to go and work out. Um, I wake up one morning and then like it said Tevis to Metropoli, and then she's like, "Congrats, man! You were drafted last night. I'll send over all the details and everything. Here soon when I get them. Like don't post anything on social media. Everything's cool." I'm like, "Oh, okay, bet. Like, all right. Like, I got drafted. That like that's cool. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, if I mean, obviously NBA is like, ooh, but like getting drafted or getting picked up, like, it's only a certain amount of people that get picked up, and then it's only a certain amount of players that are like in the pool. So it's kind of like it's a little bit of luck, but at the same time, like you know what I mean. Like
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not saying that there was like any doubts. I just didn't like. I really didn't know like what was going on with it. So, anyways, a couple days go by. Um, I'm still kind of just like, all right, cool, but like I don't really hear back from the person. You know what I mean? He was like, yeah, I haven't heard anything about it yet. So I'm like, all right. Um, a couple days go by, I'm starting to get a couple different messages or text messages, calls from like different WhatsApp numbers, hey, this is such and such from Metropolis, this is such and such from the league, this is the person that's doing this. I don't know who's who. I'm being professional, I'm being polite. Hi, how you doing? Yes. Nice to meet you. Everybody's giving me different types of things. Somebody's asking me like what jersey number I want, what size I want. Somebody's asking me what airport I'm at. Somebody's asking me, um, where do I want like the money or anything to be sent to? Like it's all these different things. I don't know it, like any of these people. They're telling me their names,
Yeah.
but I'm like, you know, I'm looking the names up on Google, but it's kind of like this is Roberto. I don't like. There's
Okay.
so many Robertos. You know what I mean? Like this is
Yeah.
Diego, so many Diegos. Like it's so many different things. So I'm kind of just like, all right, I'm gonna just sit back and just wait and see what's going on. Um, Finally, I get a call. And they're like, yeah, we're booking your flight for this day. We're gonna get you out here. I'm like, all right. I get all my stuff packed. I let my job and everything know. I let my family know. I said my goodbyes. Get on the plane. I get there. Um, I don't know if a lot of people know, but like the draft happens one day, but then they air it live like on TV like after a little bit of time. So
Yep.
um, when I'm sitting, like when I'm getting there, I meet everybody. We're at Francisco. We're at Francisco's house. Coach Fabian's there, Jose, like everybody's there, Joaquin, everybody's there, and they're speaking to me. And Fabian's asking all these questions. Like Fabian's the head coach, and he's like, so like, where'd you play in school? How much did you average? Where else have you played overseas? All these things, and I'm kind of like, you the head coach, and like you don't know none of this stuff. And then he's kind of like, no, I know, but like, you know what I mean? Like and what happened? One of the Joaquin's son, he speaks English, and he was just explaining to me. He was like, oh, he's only asking me. He's just trying to let you know that like they picked you up first, so like there's a lot riding on you. I'm like, yeah, I understand. Like, you guys picked me up. Like, I understand like the overseas thing. You know what I mean? Like, where you're playing as a pro, like they look at you for a certain type of thing. So like, I
Hmm.
understood, but when we got back and we were looking at the draft, and then I was kind of just like chilling. But then I see, Diego comes up, and then the woman, she's there speaking, and then they have Roberto there. And I didn't meet Roberto at the time, so I didn't know like he was the speaker of Metropoli. But they're like, okay,
Hmm.
like Diego's like, okay, Roberto, like who are you guys picking first? And he's Tevis Robinson Jr. I'm like, what? Like like hold on, like y'all got the first pick. Like like I wasn't y'all first pick. Like I was the first pick. That kind of threw me off. I just thought it was crazy. Um, Not crazy to like pick me up first because like it's kind of like just that humble thing. Like I said again, with the camp and the players and everything there, like it was definitely some guys that I thought that were like for sure had game, and like I seen their names in the draft, and like some of them, like Devin,
Yeah.
Jackie played with me on my team. So seeing like me get picked up over like a couple of these guys like Jackie. A lot of people don't know, but like I found out about Jackie is that like he did the camp the year before and got MVP and got some
Oh,
things
true.
going on with that. So like he he was going into the camp already experienced, already knowing what's going on. He's playing like that. So like especially being like a smaller person, it's like okay, bet like he can get down, but like at the same time, it's like it's a cool thing to get picked up number one overall, but at the same time, it's kind of like you got to look and see about what players need. Like I guess it wouldn't have made sense to have like Devin or like Jackie to go number one just because like Metropoli already had like their guards. You know what I mean? Like they needed somebody of like myself that can do those things. So
Hmm. And talking about your first impressions getting to the facilities. Well, we changed teams. I'm sorry, we changed gyms, but going to the first facility. In my personal opinion, I had been there the year before because I had played the 24 under league with
mm,
Metropolis,
okay,
and so I knew the gym. I knew where it was. I knew the flooring and everything. It wasn't the best, I can say. And you're in the U.S., you play in wooden floors or carpet. Sometimes it's better facilities, and either even in other countries that we're gonna touch on because you played in other countries, they might have better floorings and all that. So you get to the gym, you meet the coaches, you get to meet us. Like, what was your first impression out of everything, even before you started thinking about playing a game?
Yeah. I mean, first thing, like everybody was like treating me like family. Like it wasn't just like I said, like a lot of people were hitting me up on WhatsApp, not sure who these people were, but like I was getting like a lot of messages on WhatsApp, a lot of messages on Instagram. Like my following were starting to go up. So like I'm not sure who is who, but you know, like you had reached out to me, you said something. Charlie reached out. Both Charlies had reached out and had said something to me. Um, just like, hey, what's going on, like I'm such and such, I'm a part of the team, welcome to the family, good to have you. And I'm like, okay, yeah, bro, like it's good to be here, and then it was like I think you or Charlie had ended up inviting, like, hey, we're gonna go down to the gym, we're gonna get some shots in and work out if you want to work out. I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. Because I mean, I was already there for like 3 days, but it was kind of just more like getting settled in. I worked out a little bit by myself, getting some food, but really, just like taking it slow. So it was cool. And like when I got there, like Manrique was there with Jose. They're getting their work in. Ramon was there, working out and doing some stuff. So it was cool to see that like that you guys were already like continuing to get ready to go. But that was like my first impression. I didn't know that you guys had already played 4 or 5 games already. So you guys, like, I thought it was just kind of like like, yeah, like Tevis is here, let's do it. I'm like, okay, bet, like, man, I'm motivating people to come in, but like y'all already 4 or 5 games already in. So like, like y'all supposed to be there. You know what I'm saying? Y'all in season mode. I'm thinking like, okay, bet, like I'm thinking like, okay, we about to gel in, we about to do some things, but really like y'all kind of just like, well, like welcome, but like we about to show y'all how we already been doing it. So it but like before playing the first game, I thought the facility was nice. I seen the new facility, that definitely looks nicer, like a good upgrade. But I mean, what they had in the other one, I mean, with it being a gym, a weight room, and then I didn't find out this for like the first month, but there's a restaurant upstairs that has some really good food. And I mean, I've never really seen it like that before, where it's like this a restaurant upstairs and you could have some people that are just like, are you here to work out? No, I'm about to go get, a cup of coffee or something like that and leave. And I'm like, oh,
Right.
that's what's up. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's business, bro. You gotta get some money
no,
somewhere.
that's a fact. And I'm not hating on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then your first game was at Limon, right? At Sharks.
Yeah,
I rem- this is a story, man. So I remember we was getting on the bus, and you everybody sat. You came in. You had your headphones in. You was on your phone, and you sat right behind me. It was me. I think Carlos Castillo was right next to me,
yeah,
and then
Castillo.
you were right behind me. And if you remember that trip, we got delayed because we went the back way. I don't know if you don't know the road, but we went the back way, and
I
then we
definitely
got
don't know the road, but I know that it took forever to get there.
yeah, we got stalled. I think it was like an accident, or they were like fixing the road or something. So we were stuck for about 40 minutes on the road, and everybody was talking, yapping, and I just looked over, and you was playing that damn game on your phone, bro. You was playing that game
That brick
where you
breaker.
hit bro, you was hitting like balls of a wall, and then you played it on the way there. You played it on the way back. You played it when I drove. You was on that game a lot,
I still,
and I
bro.
remember.
I don't know if people can see this little brick breaker. I don't know what it is, bro. I started playing like my junior year of college. I don't. It's safe to say that I'm definitely addicted to it. I'm on level 601, and I'm like, I really don't know what it. And like my friend said, it's just kind of like, I don't know. It's not like something that I'm trying to do like to like be rude or anything, but it kind of just like helps me like focus on like the outside of things. Like I think like I have real bad like travel anxiety, like on buses, on cars, airplanes and things. And I don't know why, but when I play it, it just helps me just focus to just be there. You know what I mean? Like, because if I'm not
Yeah,
playing and like I'm talking to somebody, I just feel, I don't know why. Like I just feel like I have real bad car anxiety, but it helps out a lot. And uh I've literally been playing this little game for like 6 or 7 years, and every time I pull it up, like even like my brothers that see me playing, they're like, "Bro, you play that game a lot," and I'm like, "Yeah, I do." Like in my free time, I don't know why, but yeah.
I mean, I guess it makes sense. You didn't know any of us, and you was on your phone. You had your headphones, and I'm like, I told Jose, I'm like, he don't know anybody, so he's not gonna just start talking to us, right? Because we're new to him.
Yeah, and
And
even at the same time, I didn't know who spoke English and who didn't. Like, I mean, there were some people that would come up and say like a few things, like, "Hey, what's going on? My name is such and such," but like that's kind of like me, like, "Hola, mi amo es Tevis." Like, but I don't speak Spanish. You know what I mean? If like somebody starts to speak it, like maybe I can understand it a little bit, but like I can speak it a little bit, but like not anything of like having a full conversation with you. So, I mean, I am a little bit more of like introverted, but like when it comes around to like being like a team and everything like that, like I don't try to like reach out and be anything crazy, but I don't want to be like a wall and like you can't talk to me. Like if anybody wants to say anything, like I was always listening. Like I talked to like the younger guys and like even though if they didn't even speak English, like I try to get somebody to translate or just asking like whatever they were asking, you know what I mean? Because even like, I have a job to do on the court, but at the same time, like there are younger guys, that whose dreams and ambitions are to like get to the US. So they want to know like what's it like, whether like they're playing or not, like what is it like? What
right,
process do I have to do? What test do I have to take? What school is like this? Like so you know what I mean? Like for me, like with my experience and um a lot of people that are in the US, like we kind of take it for granted of just like high school trying to go to college and that's whatever. There's a lot of people
yeah,
outside of the US that they want to come here just because of like what they see, whether if it's like watching a sport team or just in the area that it's at. But that's what people want to do. So I mean, definitely just trying to recruit as many people as I can to go to University of Michigan. But outside of that,
right, yeah, no, and that's exactly what I mean. We're gonna get to all that, once I get to once we started going out and the nightlife and all that. But I was telling Jose, like, even after you left, I was like, bro, Tevis was a completely different person when he first got here. Then after a few games, and that last day that I went out with him and Jose and Devin, completely different person. Those three different like scenarios. You wasn't talking to nobody. Then you was talking, but like people didn't know if you were just like bored or you were just introverted or you was just like reserved. Like nobody knew. And then those last few days, last few weeks, you was talking to everybody. You was making jokes. You was talking to the young guys. You was all over the place. So it was cool, man. It was cool seeing you develop like that. Because I remember quickly when I met Jose last year, when he came over, right out the gate, he was like talking to everybody, right? So he's more outgoing, so he was like all over the place. Um, so it was cool seeing you develop like that, and which means you gain confidence. That's one. And you were being treated right? Because I heard you was getting good food out there at Francisco's house, man. So I heard
we
you was getting Uber Eats, like yo, I'm talking
we
like,
we don't got to talk about it, man. People
man,
need to survive, and I ate, bro. Like you know what I mean. And I was forever appreciative with Marise and Aliena and Francisco and everything that they did for me was really great. Like that helps the experience. You know what I mean? Like I said, I know people that play overseas, or even like some people that are in the league where they kind of just like the food is bad or like their living conditions are
mhm,
bad. So like everything was being taken care of, man, and that's the easiest thing, especially like when you have like your family back at home. Like the first thing, are they treating you right? Like what are you eating? Are
right,
you
right.
like the funniest thing when I first got to the apartment, it was a brand new mattress that was there, and they were like, the bed and the bed frame will be here, in a couple days. You know what I mean? But I'm on FaceTime, obviously, because everybody, like my friends, my family, they want to see like how we're living. Bro, I had the mattress on the ground on the first night to sleep, and my mom Dukes was literally like, "You need to get on a plane back home." I'm like, no, like no, like it's not even like that. Like they have one on the way, and she's like, it needs to be there in the morning. She's like, you are a professional. They need to treat you like. I'm like, mom, it's not even like that. Like obviously they can't just get like just pulling up a twin size frame. You know what I mean? Like it takes a little bit of time
Yeah.
to find, one of those type, a queen, king, whatever type of bed
Mhm.
I had. Um, she was like, "You want me to say it? You go say it." I'm like, I will let them know, but they said it'll be here. If it's not here in a couple of days, that's okay. Couple of days go by. Not only does the bed frame pull up, another bed comes in. It's an extra twin mattress if I needed to, like, because I think Marcy asked me, was the bed big enough? I said yes. Sometimes my leg kind of like gets out of the. They ordered another mattress to put at the end, so like if I wanted, like, so my if I didn't want my
I
feet to
didn't
hang.
know that. Dang.
I mean, that's how I look at it. It might have just been if I know we had somebody said that somebody else might be staying there, so I was thinking of like that, but I mean nobody.
Guardy. It was Guardy. It was
Oh,
Guardy.
I saw Guardy stay one time, but he stayed downstairs with everybody else. But I mean no,
Yeah,
so
it was him. It was him. And I heard you stole Alberto's PlayStation too.
didn't steal it. Don't do that. Did not steal it, bro. I did not steal
All
it.
right.
They Alberto was basically, he asked me if I played the PlayStation. I'm like, yeah, sometimes like, on my free time, like when I'm here, like back home in Michigan, like not really, you know what I mean? Like my friends play it. During COVID, I really picked it up. Like before that, I didn't play it at all. Um,
Right.
like you got like Madden 2K. Like my little brother always has had a game system. I play with him a little bit, but like for me, being so realistic, like if something does not happen in real life, it happens in the game, like I'll be pissed. Like, bro, there's no way that like, you know what I mean? Like just any BS that happens, bro, like I don't even want to play it. But Call of Duty COVID happened and we started playing Call of Duty Warzone. And that's kind of just like what I was on at all times. And, as things started to open back up, I kind of was just like, all right, I can't just be on Warzone for 4 hours. Like, I actually got to go work out. Gyms are opening.
Yeah.
Got to go see like my grandparents and do some other things. But like it was still fun. You know what I mean? When I got over to Costa Rica, they were kind of, it was just like, what do you like to do for fun? And I'm kind of just like, I like to sleep. uh, you know, like I like to go out a little bit, you know what I mean? But outside of that, like day to day activities, I want to work out, I want to eat. Like if I can walk around and go see something, something that I can't see normally, something that's
Yeah.
significant, I'm trying to do it.
Right.
And then it was kind of just like, you play video games. And I'm like, yeah, a little bit. And Alberto's like, I got a PlayStation. Like, if you want to have it or if you want to use it. But the way he said it, it kind of sounded like he didn't want me to have it. So I was kind of like, oh no, I'm good. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to take the PlayStation away from him, you know what I'm saying? Like, if that's what he has.
Yeah.
But then, like, they asked me maybe for a couple weeks, and then I finally, Maurice was just like, like he has a PlayStation 5 upstairs, so like you can have his PlayStation 4. Like it's not a problem. I was like, oh, like y'all didn't say that. Like I didn't I was like, I thought that it was like his only game system. So like, no,
Yeah.
like gladly it's fine. And like I still have my PlayStation Network from the house. Warzone is free, but like you can download it on there. So I mean I did that, and I mean it helped me not go out the house as much for sure. Or not just sit in the house and just be
Sure.
bored. So
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. For sure. That's funny because mind you, people. The guy we're talking about, Alberto, he's like what, 15 years old, 16 years old.
no idea
So
how
it's not like
he's a young guy,
yeah,
but like
yeah,
I
he's
know
young.
how I know like I kind of looked at it how like my little brother is, and if you act like my little brother is 3 or 4 years younger, I think he's 3 years younger than me, and like if you were to ask him to like even, hey bro, can I borrow your PlayStation for the night? He no, like even if he's not even there, like, he does not want that thing to go anywhere, bro. Like, he might not even use it at all. He just doesn't like. He's like, so I understood like the way he said it. I'm like, even though I knew he had a PlayStation 5, I'm sure he was still like, man, I do not want this dude having my PlayStation. Like, what happens if my PS4 goes down? Can I plug my PS4 back in? Can I come ask Tevis for it back? You know what I mean? But
Yeah, yeah,
got good. It got put to good use. I mean, I played Warzone a lot on there, like a lot. And with us only being like 1 hour behind where my friends are, like I was able to like still play with them. They might stay on for like an extra 30 minutes where like they're getting ready to go to bed just so we can play a little bit longer. You know what I mean? So it was definitely nice.
right, man. And jumping back to business to that first game in Limon, that was the game. That was the game that the power went out. It was your
Yes.
first game. We were at their gym. I remember telling somebody like, "Yo, my grandma lives like 5 minutes away. Like literally, I'll walk like 2 blocks and I'll be there. So I went there. I took a shower. I ate. Came back. We got dressed. We were warming up. Whatever. First of all, the gym was packed, and I'm going to tell you, it's a small gym, but what separates Limon from other provinces and other cities is that sports are big. Like we get a lot of athletes that come out from Limon, and people are really into it. Like a quick story: there used to be a gym. I used to go to kindergarten at this school that the first division team used to play at their gym, and
Okay.
they had standings where you were either up on a high level seat, or you would be like down, kind of like courtside, kind of like how we had it at our gym,
Okay.
but it wasn't seated; it was standing, and there was no division between the people and the players. So when teams from out of the month came play there, people pushed them like on an out of bounds play. Like you got pushed, you get pushed, you get things
Wow.
thrown at you, you get cursed at in your ear. It was wild. So they closed down that gym because it wasn't safe, basically. I mean,
Wow.
and then they started playing at this new gym. So it was packed. They had just remodeled the floor. I don't know if you know that, but the floor it's still horrible because it's slippery once you put water on it or sweat. But it was brand new. It was like a month after they put it down, and the power went out. So combining those three things, what'd you think of that first game? I don't know how much you had. I don't know how much you how many points or your stats, but talk to me.
Yeah, I think I had like 15 or 17 that first game. Really was just trying to feel out for it. I can't remember if I don't think I started. I can't remember if I started or not, but really just like trying to make sure I wasn't like ball hogging, but also making sure that like, I was getting mine. And the first thing that stuck out to me was that it was very hot in that gym. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, man, I'm like, bro, if I don't drink enough fluids, I'm probably gonna catch a cramp. So I was kind of like at the same time, like, man, I need to make sure that like I'm giving like some solid numbers, for the first game. And I think in the first half, I had like 4 points, but I shot the ball like 8 times. And that's when I was really just starting to realize that I definitely missed a couple like bunnies, like so a couple easy layups, and I got fouled on a few, but like they weren't calling it. And then no, maybe I had like 2 points towards the end. I remember Jose just throws like a rocket at the end of the second quarter, and I just grab it and I go up and I score the ball. And then
Hmm.
I like they were like I remember like everybody speaking, just figuring out what's going on. Like I'm coming in with 4 points, and Mike was just like Mike, our other import. He's kind of like, "Yo, you got to get your points in." And man, Enrique was like, "Yo, like when you think you can go, just ask for the ball and just do it." So I was like, all right. So I started asking for it a little bit more. The power goes out, so I'm like, damn, like excuse my language, but I'm like, damn, like this is my first game. Like it's going the power is out. Like I only got 4 points, man. Like is this how my debut is gonna go in? I'm like, dang. And just coming in with the psychological thing, man, you the number one pick, you gonna be like Greg Oden, you gonna be like Brian. Like what you gonna do? I'm like, bro, you and nobody like Brian, but you can't be no Greg Oden, bro. Like come on, can you be like a John Wall? You know what I'm saying? Can you do something like something decent, like nothing crazy, but something like all right, bet. So power ends up coming back on. Um, hit a couple mid range shots, hit a three. I can't remember how much we won by, but it was close up until the fourth quarter. We started to take off a little bit more. Obviously with your
We was
first
losing at one point. We was losing at one point.
oh, no facts, yeah. Now
Yeah.
with me, I really don't check the scores like rarely. Like when I'm looking up, it's kind of just like I'm in the moment. Like I'll check it like during like a timeout or during a free throw or something like that. But other than that, so I really wasn't looking up. I was kind of just more focused on like making sure that we were all playing together. But I was also making sure like trying to see what things that how we were running these offenses, what way I can like try to go score. But I picked it up. I remember like I threw like a dime to Mike and Mike dunked it. I'm like, all right, bet. Like, yeah, it's up there. Like it's cool. Like, all right, we got our first win, and we took that ride back. And I mean, the next few games are a whole different story. But
Yeah, I was actually going to jump into that. It definitely took us a while to like figure out each other. Um, because even those games after, I think it was 2 games after that, it was Grecia and Escazú,
Yeah.
that just destroyed us. They killed us. And I could tell from the bench because I didn't start because you took my spots, but that's another
My
subject.
bad.
Like,
My, my bad.
um, from the bench, you could just tell, like, the chemistry wasn't there, and part of that is that both of y'all, you and Mike, joined us at the middle of the season. We didn't know how you guys play. We didn't first. I mean, I don't want to talk about Mike a lot, but first we didn't know he could literally do everything. I mean, he was at the end of the season he was doing everything. We didn't know that. We didn't know that you were taking more mid ranges than anything else. Um, so it took us a while. But like in those 2 games, was there a point that you were like, damn, I think we're not gonna be that good, or damn, this is gonna be tougher than than what I thought or I had in mind.
No, I never thought that it was like it was never a point in time where I didn't think we would be good. I knew that it was definitely going to be tough. I thought that it was kind of just going to be a little bit easier. Like not knocking the other leagues that I've played in, but it's always just kind of been like my first year in England, it was like I would get my points, but sometimes like it would be like a tough like it would kind of not tough, but like it'd be like a little bit easier to go score. Like here, like I really had to make sure that I was knocking down these shots because I'm not getting free throws. I got to hit my shots. Again, touching on Mike, pause. Mike is real deal, can do whatever he wants, bro. Like can shoot, can inside game. He's gonna block your shot. He told me that like growing up, he played point guard, and he ended up just growing to like
Yeah,
6'10",
6'10".
6'11", however tall he
Mm-hmm.
is. So like he has like he can push the ball and do it all. Um, Manrique is an exceptional shooter in terms of threes. He does. I think his mid range game is definitely better than mine when he really wants it to be. I understand as a point guard, you're caught outside the perimeter, so kind of doing your thing. Um, Jose is definitely one of those players where has to have the ball in his hands, controls the tempo of the game, and can real deal like get everybody together. And then even with
Right.
Ramon can score, and I can kind of tell that like he was definitely like the scorer before me and Mike came in. So like even like with him trying to adjust that role where it's kind of like we're not trying to take the ball from him, you know what I mean? But it's like I can't catch the ball, pass it, give it back, and then get it back again and pass it. I'm like, it's kind of like I kind of got like a maybe like a 3 pass rule. If I pass it twice and it comes back, in my mind, I know that there's only like 10 seconds left on the shot clock. So it's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
I gotta go try to like make a play. Um,
Mm-hmm.
just like picking up things with Ramon, really, like you said, like in the beginning, like I really didn't know how he played. Towards the end, I started to realize that like, and I'm not trying to like give out like the way that he plays, but like he attacks the basket and like if he doesn't score, he kind of like jumps to the pass. So I kind of realized that. And I would start to like cut to the basket as soon as I seen him cut, or as soon as I seen him go. And he might like look away like he's gonna shoot. He might see me last second, he'll just dish it off. I'm like, all right, bet. Like, and that's how it was working like a lot of times. But yeah, like we ended up getting it together. And I really would say like in between like those games, like where we were losing and like we would win some and we would lose some, it'd be some close games. I'm like, man, like it's right there. Like what's missing? And I want to say like towards the end, like when we had beat Abogados, at what's it called? Was it at Licio?
Liceo, yeah.
Yeah. So when we had beat them there, that's kind of like that's when it all came together. And like in Kai, we ended up picking Kai up. Kai was a huge addition. He ended up putting it all together. It was kind of just like everything was clicking. Even though like I think I had 14 points, but like I shot 8 free throws. And like I never felt like I forced one shot. I feel like Mike took some good shots. Kai came in, was hitting some good shots. You came in and hit a deep three as well. Like it was all everything was clicking where I was kind of like, okay, cool. Where it's like me and Mike as imports, we don't have to be like carrying the team on our back. Everybody's putting some things together. Like it's kind of like that big old thing of soup. Like I'm not just putting in all my season, you know what I'm saying? I'm putting in a little bit, everybody's coming together, we stirring it up and we're gonna be a dangerous
Right.
team. So and that's how it definitely was. So
Right. Right. And you became a fan favorite with our crowd. Bro, like I saw you getting familiar with like the little kids from the academy that was coming to watch your games because we had the best crowd. so
For sure.
they would come to damn near every game. And then once we got towards the end, I saw you like interacting more with them. Like you made a bucket, or somebody made a bucket, or the other team called a timeout. You was like hyping them up, like yeah, let's go, like get on your feet. And that played a really big part, man. That played a really big part, especially during that Awogao series. That it was
Oh,
definitely
100%.
tough, especially
Oh,
that.
yeah, man. I mean, like for me, like, basketball is like it's very serious and all these things. To, like fans and things, it's like it's entertainment. So they want to be entertained. They want to see something nice. And it would be a few times where I might go up to the gym like for practice and like, a little kid come up and they like ask a couple of things. I'm like, yeah, like just continue to make sure like I'm having fun with it. You know what I mean? Like you guys are coming out to watch us play and to put on a show and to definitely win. So it's like whether like we can't control everything, but I can control the way that I play and I can control the energy that brings into it. And
Mhm.
like I just remember like just I was telling some of the younger guys around like the I think like the 16U team or the under 16s. I'm like, yo, look, tell as many friends as you can to like come out. Like I'm gonna try to dunk on somebody. I'm gonna have Mike try to dunk on somebody. Like Manrique going try to dunk on somebody. I'm telling them for real, but like even though knowing that like maybe I might try to dunk. I'm not really gonna try to dunk on anybody, but I'm gonna make sure we're getting hype. And
Right.
I don't know what it is. Like I never like plan out what I'm gonna do or like what I'm gonna say, but like it might be like I'm getting an and one. I look over to the crowd and one. I hit a three. I hear a I look over. I'm blowing you a kiss. Uh, I'm getting like these layups at the end of like the shot clock or anything like that. Like it's like that energy when you're in the moment, man. Like feeding off of it, like you said, it definitely plays a big part, and especially when we won that series, like having everybody together. And I really wish we could have won at our gym, like because the crowd, it was so many people there. Even though like we filled up and we traveled, and we traveled heavy everywhere we went, but like when it was like that entire Carthago, like the upper arena, like everybody's there, everybody
Mhm.
got the horns, they had the marching band. I'm like, oh, this is lit. Like, oh my God, like man, like we go get a dub in here. They gonna storm the floor. It was like we lost that game, and it's like, dang. I mean, it was a close game, but it was tough.
Yeah, it sucked. Did anybody ever talk trash to you on the court?
Maybe I don't know. I mean, I don't speak Spanish. I don't think nobody ever said anything like in English. Really, I don't think. I
What
mean,
about with other imports like Jose or Powell or somebody else?
Jose for sure.
Yeah,
But
Jose has a big mouth.
yeah, I mean, like Jose's my guy, but he'll definitely like let you know, like, oh, bro, like you ain't getting that shit. And I'm like, what? He's all like, you out here flopping. I'm like, what? Like, bro, I'm not flopping, bro. Or like, it was like a play where like he laid it up, and then he told me he was like, yo, like I was gonna dunk on Mike. I'm like, bro, I've never seen you dunk like out like in a game. He was like, oh, he's like, okay. He's like, okay, watch this. And I'm like, stop talking to me, bro. Like you my guy, bro. And that's kind of a thing of me as well. Like I'm always like I'm in the zone, but at the same time, like it's that quick that I could just hop out of it and just be like a friend. You know what I mean? Where I can just like help
Right.
somebody up or do those things. And that's not really like a normal thing. There's some people that like when they're in the zone, like they don't care if like you like let's say like it's me and you. If I was going against you, like there's some guys that's like, bro, when that clock starts, like F this person, bro. Like I do not care about this person. I want to see him. Like a lot of people more recently that Dream Team documentary had came out, or the Redeem Team documentary, and Kobe had
Mm-hmm.
like he had checked Paul Gasol, and people were like,
I
oh
saw.
wow,
Yeah.
like that's big. Like I can't ever see myself doing that because I'm like, man, I'm like, bro, I can't like hit somebody like Jose because like, bro, we about to go out like in the next day. You know what I mean? Like he a cool dude, but
Yeah.
that's definitely like just the competitive thing that I definitely want to work on. But trash talking is definitely not in my nature. I feel like if I'm ever talking trash, it kind of throws me off of my game. Like I kind of want to let my game do the talking. If somebody says something, I might interact. You know what I mean? Like if I'm at the free throw line, people are like cheering to have me miss. I might look over and tell you to be quiet. Um, like it's definitely been some other things, but I've never like called anybody out of their name really like that. Maybe like in college, but in Costa Rica, nah. Always try
Yeah.
to
I
respect it.
had bad experiences when I trash talk, bro. Because usually the other guy just goes off. I'm like, ah,
Oh, for
shit.
that don't know, and I didn't know this for the longest, but Shez had some type of interactions with a certain team that he used to play on, and we're beating this team. And a lot of times when teams are, when they're losing, it was kind of like not too much that you could really do other than like try to bounce back, but they try to find other things to like pull out of. And I remember we're going into halftime, and I just remember somebody's like, "What's up, Shez? What's up, Shez?" And I look over, I'm like, "Why are they talking to Shez, bro? Like Shez, like the Shez say something?" Like, I don't know, but it was like everybody's getting all close and they're bumping and stuff. Like I already know what's going on. They trying to throw us off our game. This crazy, like. Shez is right back like, no, what's up? I'm here. What's up? I'm here. I'm like, bro, like, what is going on, bro? Like, can we just play ball? Like, I'm one of those people. Can we just all get along and play? We can do this after the game at a different time. Why we got to do this right now? For 40 minutes, can we just play ball? But it's like, you know what I mean? Like Shez was with it. And like, I'm not saying that I was like trying to hype it, but I was definitely trying to like, no, we're not trying to de-escalate it, but I wasn't hyping it though. Like I was kind of just like, yo, like back up, you know what I'm
Right,
saying? We're all good. I mean, it did work out for them. They ended up taking us into overtime and we won, but like we were up by a lot, and I thought that it was. I didn't think that they were gonna come back how they did, but I mean, good teams
right.
all like so.
So I've heard. I'm just gonna quickly talk about it. I've heard so many versions of that. What had happened was, you know how somebody was gonna tell something. What happened was is number 10 was flopping. I remember he shot a 3-pointer and he kicked his leg out and he flopped. He got a foul, I think
Okay.
against Kai. He did that like twice. And if you remember, we went into halftime and Ramon had hit a three, a buzzer beater three on
Yeah.
that game to go into halftime. So I was on the court and I was walking back to our bench, which was across the court. So I was yelling, "They're flopping. All they could do is flop. That's how they're coming back." That's literally all I said, literally.
You said it
But
in Spanish?
I, what you said? What?
Did you say it in Spanish?
Yeah, I said it in Spanish, of course. Bro, and I was yelling that I was like screaming at it, but I didn't really think they were gonna hear me. I saw number 10, Brandon, that's his name. He's my guy. Like, don't get me wrong, I love him, he's my guy, but I saw him turn around and look at me. I'm like, yeah, you're flopping, boy. Like, there's nothing you can say because you're doing it. And there is some I don't want to say it's like mutual beef. Like, I know their coach had some against me, which I don't know what it is. I'll never know. I really never had it, or I've never talked about it publicly, or I've never done anything to him up until that game. Like, I was like, if I'm going to do or say something, it's going to be on that game. Like, he's going to hear me. So he was the first one to get it started. He was the first one saying, "What's up, Chef? What y'all can buy? What's up? What's up?" And I just kept walking. I looked over. I'm like, all right, it's on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, something's about to happen, bro. In my mind, I'm like, if they do some, if he does some, it's their loss because they're at home.
Right.
So let's just say we go 3 games. He can't coach the third game or the next game. So in my mind, I'm like being strategic about it. I'm like, yeah, I dare you to punch me. I dare you to do something because you won't get suspended. um,
I mean,
and
it
then we
really.
went. Go ahead.
No, I was saying it really just seeing him in that moment where I thought he was kind of just like, like one of those like really mad, but like he ended up like coaching us at the end. Like he was a real nice guy. Like he was talking to me a little bit
Yes,
like from what he could. So like
yes.
he was a real nice guy, but just seeing him in that moment, I mean, I don't know if it was just like a heated a moment thing or just like some type of like built up aggression because you guys didn't get along while you were there or like getting ready. So like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. He is. I mean, I can say that. Like, every anything that I'll say about him or anybody else is just basketball. Like, he is a nice guy. The only person I'm really scared of that team is Simmons, number 8. That's the only guy I walked over. You you remember him, Daniel,
oh
number
yeah,
8, big
yeah,
dude.
bro. And a funny thing about him too is that like he's so strong, he can shoot and he could do some other things. And like people were saying, like, like he's kind of like in like, his last days, but I'm like, all right, bet like, he's kind of not even getting up the court, not doing anything. But bro, that's like one of those like it's like the old man tactic where he acts like
Yeah,
he don't have to do nothing, that he gonna come through, he gonna bust your ass. And I'm like, damn, bro, like I done fell for it, man. Like he's coming down, posting up, and like with him, he kind of reminds or like I kind of feel like I'm a little bit similar to him in terms of like how we act because like there was a time where like I tried to box him out and he like he probably didn't even mean to do it on purpose. He's just that strong. He had like bumped me, and I was like, oh, like fell type. And, like a lot of people be like, man, hit the weight room, but he kind of like turned around. He's like, yo, you good? I'm like, yeah, man, appreciate it. I'm like, damn, bro, like this dude is strong, bro. Like, I'm like, yo, Mike, you might have to take him, man. Like, I ain't.
Yeah, it was that first game. It was him and Jose. Jose had like 20 something. He had like 18. Like they were both like just going at it, at it, at it, at it, and nobody else. That's how we really won because nobody else really stepped up.
Right.
And I remember that game took over to like 11 p.m. Like it was a late game. Um, and then once we won, I heard that somebody told me that the bus that took our fans, they just kept on beeping the horn and cheering and everything all the way back to Cartago, like all the way back.
That's
I'm like,
wild.
that's real, man. That's wild. And then that second game comes around, and I don't know if I told you this, but Jose comes to me and he says, "Bro, like y'all better watch out, cause like coach, he told us like play hard, like beat him up." I'm like, oh shit. So I told coach, I'm like, yo, Jose told me this, that. So I'm just letting you know, so in case something happens. They're like, all right, cool, bet. And that game, I think that game we were never up, right? Like we never had a lead. I don't think like they just dominated. It wasn't
I,
a blowout, but they were
yeah,
always up. I think.
I think we trailed pretty much the whole time. I think we were always trying to play catch up.
I think what messed us up was that we didn't really practice at that gym a lot. And it's a big gym. Like I don't know if you played at gyms like that before, where it's like the hoop, and then it's like a big space between the hoop and the
Yeah,
and the
it's a
stands.
it's a it's a psychological thing, and like it makes you feel like
Right.
you're running farther, or like you got to shoot different. It definitely plays a big part in like the psychological thing. So yeah, like you said, like we rarely practiced in there, and we rarely even played in there. Like we only played 2 games, and it was both in the playoffs. But
Right.
like it was definitely tougher to shoot. Like I felt like I was tired all the time because like I'm getting up the court, and then like I may miss a couple of, but I'm like, but it's just all like psychological at the same time too. You know what I mean?
Did the weather in Cartago get into you? It was colder up there.
Um, it rained every day, and they told me that like because correct me if I'm wrong. Like we're more like up in the mountains, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So I mean, it would like rain every morning, and then it would be nice out, but it wasn't anything that like I wasn't used to. Like right before that, I was playing in Peru, and like we played our games in Lima, but we practiced and trained in a city called Arequipa, and it's basically I can't remember how much. I'm gonna look it up real quick because it was so high up for sea level. Let me see,
The
Arequipa,
practice facility.
the practice facility, and like where we like where I lived at. Hold on.
Yeah, yeah. Because I heard I've never been to Peru, but I've heard it's like elevation is real over
Yeah.
there.
So Arequipa. Let me see. So just to let y'all know, so Michigan sea level for like where I'm at right now, we're 900 feet above sea level, which is like okay.
Mhm.
So 900
Mhm.
feet. Arequipa is 7,661 feet above sea level. So
That's
like the person like my teammate that put me on from college, like he basically was telling me like, yo, like if you have your inhaler, like take that, make sure you're taking it easy, like like it's gonna be tough to breathe up there. But then like for
yeah.
me, like I'm like first day of practice, like I need to make sure that I'm like trying to trying to show like what I'm doing. Bro, it literally felt like there was an elephant on my chest. Like as soon like I was like doing like high knees to warm up, and I'm like, who? Like I was out of breath. Like it was really crazy. Um, they had this thing like I can't remember what it's called, but you put this mask on, it makes you feel like that you're like very high above like sea level, so like you can like it helps your lungs and things. And that's
Right.
literally how it felt like every day. And not even off of like you would think like after you done working out you straight. Like after I was done playing and I'm getting back to like to the house and stuff that we were at, like it was still tough to breathe. I'm like, man, like there is no air, bro. Like like it is crazy. Like I literally like felt like it took me like a few days to actually adjust. And um they were telling me that like a lot of people go there to like train for like the marathon or to like boxing things because like it does help you. Like as soon as we went down, like our first game in Lima, like I would like it was so much air that was coming back to me. Like I was lightheaded, bro. And but like I felt so like free. Like, man, like you like some people like see like my tape improve. Like I had like this nasty dunk. I've never dunked on somebody like that before. I just felt like I was running. Like I had energy. I played the entire game. So be so like going from there and then like getting ready to go to Costa Rica, like the first thing I did when I like knew I was going, I had to look up the Costa Rica sea level to make sure I wasn't about to be like preparing myself for like this Peru thing again. Cause I'm like,
That's
man,
interesting.
it was tough. But I
That's
mean,
that's
yeah.
yeah, that's interesting because I've never heard nobody said that. Like I looked up Costa Rica sea level. That's definitely interesting.
Bro, I never looked it up until I got to Peru. Like I didn't know what Michigan's sea level was or anywhere in the US, you know what I mean? Like it's not a big deal. Like I heard like if you go up to like Colorado, which is out west up in the mountains, you know, like it's kind of
Mhm.
tough to breathe, but it's like I really had to pay mind to it when I was in Peru at that time because it was crazy.
Right. Let's talk about your big game, bro. Your because with every guy I've had here, they all had a big game. You had a big game, 35 points against Sharks. First of all, have you ever had a game over that or close to that in your career?
No, like I said, man, like I've never been the type of person to go score. Like in high school, my senior year, I scored 20 points one time, but that was just versus like a full court press. So I was just basically going block to block, laying the ball up, getting a couple putbacks. In college, I never scored more than 20. Like I scored 19 like three times. My first year overseas, I never scored more than 30. I had 28. I would always have like 28, 29, 27,
Yeah,
25, 27, 29. It was one time where I thought I was gonna break it. I scored 27 points in a half. And like and this is like I'm on fire, like everything I'm throwing up like it's going in. Like it's crazy. Like you have one of those like heat check moments. Like I'm just throwing the
yeah,
ball, it's going in. I'm like, okay, bet. Like I'm going in with 27. I finished with 29 points. I get one dunk in like the third quarter. And then other than that, like they were guarding me so close, double teaming. Like my shot wasn't falling. Like it was crazy. And I'm like, dang, I'm never gonna score more than 30. So like being able, like it was in Costa Rica versus it was Limon, right?
yeah. Sharks.
Yeah, Sharks. But it was at Abogados.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was 35 and 14. And then I shot like 85% from the field. And I've never done that ever.
And what went through your mind? Like you saw, because I remember the day before or the practice before, you told me personally, like, bro, as soon as these shots start falling, it's going to be a different story. And right after that, like that same game or the game after you said that, you scored 35. So you start seeing your shots going in. We give you the ball more. Like what's going through your mind? When you're in that moment, do you ever think, all right, nah, I'm gonna just like stop because I don't want to like miss four in a row, or like make us lose points or something, like because everything was going in, like literally everything was going in for you, like it wasn't even touching the rim, it was just straight up net.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I really don't know. Like when I first, like I never went into the game thinking that I was gonna be scoring like that. You know, I kind of just play it the way that we play. I knew that we were playing against Devin, and Devin at the time was scoring 30 like at will. You know what I mean? Like, and he's like
Yep.
nonchalantly doing it, where it's like double team, shooting threes, all those things. So like I knew that like it was gonna be a battle. Um, First quarter though, like Manrique was the one that was leading us. Like again, when I was talking about with his mid range game, where he would be telling me like, "Yo, don't be afraid to give me the ball in the post. Like I can do it." And I give it to him in the post. He'll face up. He'll hit a shot. He'll come off our screen, look off. Like he was hitting everything. I can't remember how many he had in that first quarter, but I was kind of like, "Oh, this is gonna be his game." Like, but at the same time, like let me make sure I'm getting like my couple baskets in to like make sure like a lot of like the way that my let me see. The way that I always try to think about it is like if I score 4 points a quarter, then I'm like, all right, four times four,
Yeah.
boom, 16, you good.
16.
So I'm like, all right, this might be like a 16-point game. You know, let Manrique get his 30. Like we cool. Like as long as we winning, we good. Um, I think I ended up scoring four in that first quarter. Um, I missed like one jump shot, so I'm like two for three. And then really, I did like a euro. I remember I did a euro step on this one move, but like I get tripped, but I didn't shoot it. So, but it counts as a turnover, but it doesn't count as a shot. So I'm like, all right. Second quarter comes in, I do like a couple moves, get to the basket, and then the same type of thing happens again. I go for a Euro step, and somebody blocks me, but like they're blocking me over on like this side, but the referee is like on the opposite side, and he calls a
Hmm.
foul. And like I'm not gonna argue like, oh no, that's not a foul. Like, oh, that's a cool, like, I smacked the player on his ass, like, yo, good, like good work, bro. You know what I'm saying? Pause. So I'm like, yo, good work, bro. Shoot, like I'm shooting my first free throw, and then I can hear the coach on from Limon. He's like, no, 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 no. Like I know he's mad because he's like, man, like y'all calling some foul, y'all calling some BS.
Yeah.
He gets a technical foul. I'm thinking Manrique gonna want to shoot him because Manrique is the one that's high. He's like, no, bro, shoot him. So I shoot the quick free throw. I shoot my third one. Boom. I got set. I think I ended up with like 9 in that first half. Second half comes. I really don't know what it was, bro. Honestly, like I said, like I have short term memory. Like I really like unless I'm like looking at the film, like I like in that moment, like I don't remember like getting like those layups, these mid ranges and things like that. Um, I just remember like, and even back looking back at the film is crazy because like I think I scored like 14, 12 to 14 straight. And it was like, man,
Something
I
like
was
that.
wilding, bro. Like and
Yeah.
I was like, bro, like damn, like that's really me. You know what I'm saying? Like Jose's giving it to me on the break. Like I'm hitting like the little, like I'm hitting the up and under layup with the right hand. Somebody throws it over, pull up midi, um, shot fake. Like Mike throws it to me off a no look. I'm driving in for the layup, pull up, and I remember like end of the third quarter, like we have it, and this is for like the people that like can't see it, like if they're listening to it audioly, but like shot clock is turned off, 20 seconds left, and Ramon's bringing it up, and Manrique is on the bench because he gets a technical foul, so like coach pulls him
Yeah.
out because he's hot, and I just remember he's like Tevis, go get it, like you go get it. And I was kind of like I've never been the one with the ball in my hands to like end the shot clock unless I'm like screen and go get it type thing. I'm like, all right, bet. And Ramon's like, you want it? Come get it. Like, all right. So I'm taking it and I'm dribbling, like I'm sizing them up and just between. And like you were getting ready to, I think you were getting ready to sub in for me. And
Yeah.
oh, like, and a little backstory behind that. I was wearing like I normally wear these Kobe 8s, like some blue ones, but I was wearing these Black History Month ones, and like I've never worn them before. And my plantar fasciitis, which is like in your heel, was killing me, bro. Like, oh my God. Like I was so like I hit a shot and they called a timeout. I had to run to like the other side of the court because I felt like if I stopped moving, my foot was gonna fall off. Like, I was trying to like stay loose and to stay warm. It was crazy. So I had hit a shot, and then I remember I was looking over to the sideline. I was telling Jose and Fabian, like, "Yo, come sub me out." We got the stop. And I'm kind of just like chilling, like, all right, like let somebody else score. But Tevis, you go get it. I'm like, all right, so I'm getting it. So I'm here. I'm just between the legs, tween, and you're getting ready to sub in, and like I'm kind of like seeing it in my peripheral, but like I hear you like counting down, like you're looking back and you're counting down. So I'm like, all right, tween, and then once I hear like that three, I'm like, all right, pull, and it goes in. I just turn around, I'm like, damn, like, excuse me, I'm like, man, I'm a bad motherfucker. Like this is crazy, man. Like, but but then like the adrenaline is going, and then as soon as like it goes back down, I'm sitting down, and my foot like feels like it is like on fire, bro. And I'm like, oh my God, like I might be done, bro. Like or at least done for the game, like something. I need some ice or something like that. So I'm sitting there, and I can't remember how much we were up by, but I remember it ended up being close. And I didn't go back in until like 5 minutes left. And
Hmm.
in my mind, I'm like, all right, like I'm gonna still stay aggressive however I can, but like I'm not about to be trying to shoot anything crazy. But then the first play, as soon as I come back in, I get it. I do between the legs go left. I spin back. Looking back at the film, somebody else steps up, so I'm shooting it over two people. Didn't even realize it. That's just how on I was. I shoot it and I
Hmm.
hit it, and then from there, like it was like a transition, not a transition, but like a face up three. It was crazy, bro. Honestly, like I've never I've never been in that type of moment. I loved how I felt in the moment. I hated how I felt after because my body felt like terrible. Like I just felt like it was so much. I didn't realize that I didn't miss that many shots. I didn't realize that I had that many point or I had those many points. Like I thought I had maybe like 20 to 25. You know what I mean? I remember
Mhm.
Jose from Avogadro. He's like, bro, he's like, you have 40, right? I was like, 40? I was like, no, not even close. And then like they were showing me like you can look at the Swiss shop. I checked. I was like, damn, I had 35. I was like, wow. I was like, oh, 14 rebounds. And then I was like 85% from the from the field. That's a great game. And I mean, definitely motivated me to try to like do more, you know what I mean? But yeah.
Yeah, and out of all that, two questions, bro. Because was it a coincidence that you got all that film from that one game, or did you ask the social media guy to like record because you wanted to film?
On my Instagram page, no, so I mean, we always so the person that does it is Joaquin's son David, who's a part of the
Maybe, yeah.
organization. You know, he's really in the media. And when I first got there, you know, he was just telling me about the different things that he does in terms of the media and things. So he's like, you know, I take photos, I take videos, you know, I'm gonna be putting things together. Let me know what song and stuff you want on it. And I was kind of just like, nah, you know, like I'm not really like whatever you're gonna do on the team's social media page is cool. Like, and I was like, yo, if you like ever have any clips though, you know, I'll take those. You know, he has his camera and basically like after the game, I mean, I just asked him, I was like, yo, bro, like, with those clips, like, can I see all the clips and things that was going on? And him or Charlie with or Jose, they would start to send like those clips like that. But like I'm like I just had 35. Like okay, like I haven't posted something on Instagram in a little while. I'm always posting like the little still images like player of the game and showing my points, but I've never really got to show anybody like you know what I've been working on. And it's
Right.
always so funny like when I meet people or like when I see people that I've grown up with because I've never been that type of player. Or like if I tell them I'm still playing or like if they see how I play now, they're like, man, like you do not play like how you used to, and that's like the biggest compliment for me. But I was really just like, yo, like let me put something out there. You know, it looks good on the page. You know, it keeps people updated. You know what I'm saying? So like, I I edited it myself. First, I had like this young thug song on it, and I was like, it's a little bit too upbeat, man. I was like, I need something like something slow. Like I'm an old soul at heart, man. Like I love like classic music. I put Mary J. Blige, "Share My World" on it, and it just went with it. Like I put it on like as like trying to find it, and I just went with it. I'm like, man, this is what I'm on. You know what I'm saying? Like I
That was
didn't.
gonna that was gonna be my follow up question, bro. Why Mary J?
Oh yeah, I mean it was just like in the mode, bro. I mean, a lot of times I love like rap music is definitely like my favorite genre, but a lot of times I do feel like it is overrated in some points. Like
Mhm.
I'm rarely like listening to rap music when I'm warming up. Like I will show you when I'm listening to like my pregame warm up, man, I'm going to my classic mix. Like I'll tell you, you got Switch. I want to be closer. Like this is some people don't even probably don't even know some of these songs. The OJ's Forever Mine. I got some David Ruffin on here. Some BB King, Al Green, Smokey Robinson, Heat Wave. Like man, this is like music that like my aunt, my grandma, like you know that
Yeah,
they put me on with it, and like I've always enjoyed it. And not saying like I just listen to this music, but like you may see me like if I have headphones in and like I'm warming up and stuff, like I'm literally like I'm more than likely I got some David Ruffin on, honestly. Like when
does
it
it
get
help you like calm down before
I
a
mean
game?
it kind of just puts me in that zone, bro. Like so I mean like you know you have like those little zen moments. Like rap music is like cool. Like it definitely like hypes me up and turns me up. Like I definitely need that. But at the same time, it'll kind of just make me feel like I'm out of character or like I'm trying to do something like too fast or something like that. I'm like, yo,
Mhm.
let me get to like what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? Like if it's anything where like I need to be upbeat or needing to go, then like, you know, I'll play it. But outside of that, like I got the classic music and I'm just trying to make sure I'm playing my game.
Right, right. So let's talk about outside of basketball. We started going out. I remember I told you the first time, yo, I know this hip hop joint. You know, it's cool, it's chill. I think the first time we went on a Saturday, which is like the big party day.
Okay.
Um, and I, we went, but you were still like, we weren't really, fond of each other. So you were still like, reserved. You weren't talking that much. We got there. It was cool. I mean, I still enjoyed it. Um, but what'd you think about out of all the times we went out? Because we went out at least like 8 times, I think. What'd you think about the the Costa Rican lifestyle at night, the nightlife? Because we went to a hip hop joint. We went to it was like reggae also, I think. Another joint, it was reggaeton. So what do you think about that? Have you ever gone out that much in another country with somebody else?
Yeah. um, yeah, bro. I mean, I don't even know
I
where
don't
to
want to give out too many details. I don't want to give out
no,
too
no,
many
no, even
details.
on that. I'm just trying to think like because you that last thing you just said, like have I ever like gone out like that much like in other places? Like when I was in England, like but I'll probably say that one for like later. But like right now talking about Costa Rica was like the environment and everything was definitely cool. Like I like the music. Like not trying to be like stereotypical, but like I knew there'd be like Hispanic music, but like you were saying, like, oh, it's gonna be like, some hip hop stuff as well. And I thought it was funny because like you can see somebody in the club and it might be somebody next to you. He uh packing the mail is gone. She like how I smell cologne, like saying some the baby, and then you like,
Right.
oh yeah, that's what's up. But he don't know no English at all. He just know the language. And, and I mean, and it makes sense though. You know what I mean? Because like out here, like I may put on like some Elvis. I can't remember his name, but like that Suavemente. And I can be, "Ben
Elvis Crespo.
suave, que si eres que suave." Like I can say those things, but I can't speak Spanish like that. So, um, but yeah, like it was nice, man. I thought that in terms of like that hip hop joint, I thought it was really nice that I can't remember the DJ's name, but he was not just playing mainstream rap, but like he was playing like something like that old XXX Tentacion. He was playing some old Chief Keef, like some basement music. Where I'm like,
Yeah.
dang, like bring me back to like the high school days where like you have like a little high school party, like at your friend's basement type thing. Where I was like, okay, bet, like it's nice, like in terms of like going to like I think we went to the reggaeton place. The reggaeton was nice. Um really didn't start getting into like that type of music until I got to Miami. Like outside of that, all I knew was like rapping like some old slow jam songs. Like when I got to Miami, a few of my teammates obviously were like Hispanic. One of my teammates was from Africa, Haiti. So like getting these different cultures and listening to like their music and seeing what they're into, really like starting to put me on. When I went to England though, that was definitely like the most times that I've ever gone out. And like I was really over there living like a rock star, bro. Like I can't even
Right.
like explain the entire thing, bro. But it was like the stereotypic thing of like people in England, like they know how to drink. And that is like an understatement, bro. Like I've seen people like get up at 5 in the morning for like a soccer match or a football match, sorry, and like they're drinking all day. And then like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, dog, this is crazy. Like, I'm only meant for like the nightlife, bro. Like, I don't like if I drink during the day, I'm gonna want to take a nap and I might be done for the day. But they're like, nah, bro, like we're gonna continue to go. Um, like I, I'll tell you a story. There's a club there called Ocean, and Ocean is the most wildest club I've ever been to. They have themes. People in there wear costumes like Baywatch or like you would think that it was like a Halloween party. People and they do it every Wednesday and it's like
Mhm.
college students, there's adults there like it's crazy. You'll have people like just drinking and like passed out and then like just like sleeping there. I'm like, bro, like it kind of remind me of like Woodstock. I don't know if people know like what Woodstock is, where like people would be in like smoking stuff, but it would be like Woodstock for like people that are drinking though. Like it'd be crazy. And I'm like, man, like for me, like I'm like, bro, I'm too black to be in here, bro. The music, there's no rap music. Like it's all selling me in. Like I like those types of songs, but like when I'm in the club, like I'm not trying to listen to that, bro. Like, I'm trying to vibe out. Like especially when I'm drinking. Like I don't want to be like jumping around and like jumping around when I'm drinking is gonna make me throw up. But I went there twice. The first time I went there, I was with one of my teammates, and we were waiting for people to end up going there. We got there a little bit early, around like 10. He was like, yeah, let's get a couple shots. We can kick it. We took 6 shots before anybody got there. And he's having me take these shots, but then I'm chasing them with like this, like a liquor pop. They were called they're kind of like Smirnoff ices. I don't know what they were called over there though. But I'm
Okay.
taking a shot, I'm drinking it. So I'm like, all right, like you like, okay, bet. When my other teammates and other people are coming in, now we're actually taking like real shots, tequila, vodka. And like I'm mixing these things. And I'm like, bro, like I do not feel good at all. And I remember they had me up in the corner, and on like my final shot is like, all right, bro, like this is it. I go down into the bathroom and I move everybody out the way, and I throw up in the bathroom. And like for me,
Oh,
like when you like for if you throw up, you know what I'm saying? Like you instantly become sober. So like as soon as I did that,
yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'm going home. I'm getting ready to call and to go outside to call this cab. My teammates asking where I'm at. I'm like, oh, I'm about to dip. He's like, where you going? I'm like, I'm about to go home. He was like, bro, he was like, no, he's like, there's a Tesco up the street. Go there, get a toothbrush and some toothpaste, and like get back here. I'm like, bro, like I just threw like I do not want to come back. He's like, bro, go to the Tesco. I'll go into the Tesco. I do exactly. I buy a toothpaste. I buy a toothbrush. I stop into their bathroom. Like I brush my teeth, rinse my mouth out, and everything. I go right back into the club and I drink some more. I'm throwing up. It's crazy. That was the craziest time ever. And that was my first year out of college, and it was my first year overseas. So it was like I could like kind of being in Miami is like one thing, but like being out in England is like another thing where it was just like
Mhm.
nonstop, and like they really knew how to party, and that's when I knew like I thought that I was like one of those people that knew how to party. Like I'm like, yo, the partying is not for me. Um, Luckily, we never had one of those moments out here. Or I mean, like if y'all definitely would have like asked me to go to like a club like that, I definitely would have just gladly told y'all no. Like, bro, I'm too black for this. I'm too grown for this, bro. Like, I'm all about experiences, but like I've already had that experience, so no, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Those places we went, those are the same places I go now. Like I don't change locations at all because especially on Saturdays that you could get everything. You get some reggae, some dancehall, some reggaeton, some techno if you're into that, some hip hop. Um, but it was cool, especially those last few times we went out with Jose, our teammate, and then
Yeah,
Jose, the big man from Abogados. We went out with my girl. It was a cool time. It was vibes, and I was not nervous, but I was like, because Francisco had told me, bro, try to get Tevis out, because all he does is sleep, eat, play, sleep. I'm like, all right, I'll figure something out. I was planning on doing it either way, but I was like, all right, let me try and plan something out. So I told you like, yo, I'm gonna come up to this place. Want to go? You're like, yeah. I'm like, all right, bet. The bad part was I had to drive you back, so I was like, oh shit, I gotta go back. There was this one time where I drank way too much and I had to drive it back. I'm like, shit. So I just like stopped drinking for a while, man. But it was cool. And then we went up to that volcano in Cartago.
yeah.
I don't know if you, I don't
Brazil?
know if you, I don't know. Irasu, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know if you've been to other volcanoes. I mean, I don't know how Peru is. If you hiked or did some similar over there, but I haven't. I haven't visited that spot in a long time, so it was even cool for me to change to see how much it has changed.
yeah,
It was definitely cool, and we couldn't do that other La Fortuna spot that you wanted to do.
yeah. The hot
Um,
springs, and that was
uh,
that was really like what was like killer for me. Like I had to like rush back to get to the crib. I had like some family situations that were going on, and so I had to get back. But like La Fortuna was on the list. There was like a couple other things that I saw people were doing, and I remember like after we were playing like these university teams, and basically like Diego, the commissioner, wants you to like to play against them so they can like obviously get their get their playing playing against some good competition, quote unquote, because like they're blowing us out by like 20 or 30 every single time. So it's helping them get their confidence up, and they're out in Costa Rica, they get to do their thing. But I'm
yeah,
like, yo, Diego, I gotta get going, bro. Like, can you buy my flight back at this time? And he's like, before I buy your flight, he was like, would you be interested in going to this all inclusive resort that has the longest zip line and hot springs and all that stuff? It'll be paid for. I'm like, man, I would love to, bro, but I really gotta get back home. And I was kind of like upset about it, but like obviously, like family always comes first. Like you definitely gotta
right.
make sure that you're taking care of your people. So I'm like, man, like I mean, luckily Costa Rica isn't like a far country that like I feel like like if I plan it right, I can definitely like just come back and like just go do some different things. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like in England. England is like a 7 to 8 hour plane ride, like directly. Sometimes you have to like do like a layover or something like that. So like
Mhm.
going that far, even like Peru, you got to stop in Houston or like especially coming from Michigan, that's a far plane trip. So yeah.
Okay, yeah. So while we wrap it up, I mean, I just want to get one more point across. If you were to talk to, let's say, like 16-year-old Tev or 18-year-old Tev, playing basketball, not really scoring that much, trying to figure out the next steps, trying to figure out how college is going to be, what college he wants to go to, trying to think if he's going to go pro, like what would you say to him? What would you think are the right words he wants to hear?
Man, just telling them to stay in the grind and to just stay consistent, man. Like you're not missing out on anything. Like don't try to rush anything. You know what I'm saying? Like the game's gonna come to you. Um, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Like especially in the game, like nobody's ever played a perfect game before. So like don't think that you have to just like try to play a perfect game. Like, don't be afraid to break out of that shell, man. Like on the court, off the court, like just staying like the genuine person that you are. Ask those questions to those other people. Like trying to continue to be a sponge. Like um, really like just the more knowledge and information you can get, the better. The more that you can continue to go is the better. Um, really like you're gonna start one day and play somewhere and be asked to do one thing and then you think you're gonna be doing it and then it might end up changing. You just got to make sure that you know that at the end of the day it's a business and things do change. Off the court, on the court, things do change as well. If they ask you to score 20 points and you get 19, you gotta bump it up. If they ask you to come in and rebound, but if you want to rebound and score, your position might change. But yeah, like if I could really like speak to 16-year-old Tev, man, I mean he really wouldn't believe. I mean, he would believe it, like he was kind of more arrogant, like even though he wasn't the best player, like I'm speaking in third person, even though 16-year-old Tevis wasn't the best player, he always knew that he was going, if not NBA, he was going overseas. And for me looking back at it, it's like, man, like you was arrogant, bro. Like I never talked out of my name, but like if anybody was like, no, Tev, like you can't do this, I'm like, bro, I can do that 1,000%. But I just never had the game. I mean, I always had the potential to, but just staying with it, bro. I honestly don't let anybody tell you that you can. Don't let anybody tell you can't do it. Try to steal your shine. Try to steal everything that's going on. Just because they sad that they not playing does not mean that you can be in the same type of boat. I mean, the biggest thing for me that I can say, whether I continue to play right now somewhere else or if I wrapped it up right now and I just said I didn't want to play anymore, is that there's been a lot of players that I've played with back in the day that I couldn't even hold a candle to, like growing up. That like if they came
Right.
and played me now, like I would, like if we play 1-on-1, they might score a couple times, but I kill them like respectfully. You know what I'm saying? And like from people from my area, like we got a couple younger guys that play in college now that'll probably end up going pro. But anybody before that, only one person that's really been that thing, and that's James Kelly, and he graduated in 2011. He plays in the G League. Outside of that, we've had some great players that I've looked up to and I've played with and against, and they haven't been able to have that opportunity that I've been able to, and that's being able to go overseas and to play basketball for a living and to meet all these different people, do these connections, see all these different things. And I mean, it means a lot. Some people try to downplay it, but um, it's a lot, man. And I'm always grateful for it.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you coming to us, playing with us, sharing with us, being open, and hopefully we do get to meet another time, like on another season. I don't know. There's some things going on this season. It could be this one. Could be the next year if you're available. It was fun. It was definitely fun having you as a teammate.
Yeah, man. Again, thank you for having me on here, man. Thank you for thinking about me. I mean, honestly, like even doing a podcast like this, I mean, I've always had like the interviews and like a little couple minute things, but I've never actually had to like sit down and be able to tell my side of the basketball story. So I mean, this was definitely something new, and I mean, I definitely enjoyed it. I didn't think it was gonna go like this. I thought that I was gonna be like mumbling at the words, having to think. But I mean, we really out here just having a real life conversation, and that's just the type of person
Yes,
that
sir.
you are, man. Like it's definitely easier to adjust when you have somebody that you can that you can get along with and like kick it with, like, you know what I'm saying, like the type of person that you are, like your with your character and everything, that really goes a long way. So like, man, appreciate you for real. I'll give you your flowers, 1,000%.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Thank you for that. Appreciate you, man. So yeah, we're gonna wrap it up right here. Anybody listening or watching, just remember somewhere on your screen you should see a Patreon link. If you want to support the podcast, it's about $6 a month. That helps me, get better equipment, have me get better quality for these episodes. And without anything else to add,
Oh,
this is Tevis Robinson.
pay that $6. You buy coffee for $6 from Starbucks. You can give my dog $6 for a month, man. Come on.
I appreciate that, man. So yeah, man. Thank you for being here, and to everybody else, I'll see y'all next week. Have a good one. Take care.
All right, bro. Appreciate you.
Yep.